So shake up. We're gonna have 2 mason jars with lids, and you are going to pour in about 1 cup of water into each mason jar. And they're about equal. Well, there's a little more in there. That's okay. Good enough for this moment. So about 1 cup of water into each, and then you are simply going to place 1 candy in each jar and close the lid. Now, you're going to put 1 jar to the side where it won't be disturbed. And then you're going to periodically shake. We're going to set this one over here. And periodically, you are going to shake this jar throughout your 30 minutes. Okay? So maybe you can assign each of the kids to wait a couple, maybe have them pick an order, or have a parent make sure each child gets a chance to shake it up a little bit. It's a little drippy, but we'll just have a towel and they can wipe it up. That way you can continue on with the other experiment, which is Rock Bridge. And hopefully nobody was looking forward to seeing that at this moment, because I go to the library and I get books kind of from the children's reference section, so they're all the same size and shape. And we'll just have 2 chairs and we'll use those books to stack them. And the instructions are really simple. Lay 1 book on each chair with the edges of the book even with the edges of the chair, and stack books on top of each other so that each book extends out a little further over the edge than the one below it. And continue stacking the books until 1 book overlaps both stacks to form a bridge. So you're gonna basically have 2 teams and continue stacking them from each side until they get to a point where there's 1 last that goes over the top. And it's fun. It's definitely one of those that can either take a little while or can get done really quickly. If your students get it done really quickly, whew, I have this like hair right down in my face. Whew. If you have all the books stacked this way and they get it done really quickly, maybe you can have them turn them and stack them the other way and see if did you need more books, did you need less books, what did we learn about the size of the book, that's hanging over the edge. Let's say the books are 8.5 by 11, so if the 11-inch side is hanging over the edge, how many books did you need versus the 8.5-inch side hanging over the edge? Does that make a difference? So modeling some of those I wonder what would happen if we had books of different sizes, which we're not going to have. I'm going to go to the library and get all of them the same size, just because that makes the process a little bit more straightforward. And the time really does go by quickly in these 2 experiments. So you'll just continue to shake this one, and you, after 30 minutes, will see a very clear shrinkage of the one that has been shaken versus the one that has not. CC Livermore Tutors, we're going to definitely be in room 8 for this one. And we'll use 2 of the metal folding chairs as our chairs for our Rock Bridge, and we'll have a small table to the side for the candy shaken experiment. When you are done, if you could please dump out the water, have somebody dump out the water in the bathroom and toss the candy into the garbage, that would be great. And bring the jars back in, dry them, bring the jars back in and put them back into the box. That would be perfect. So I wanted to share some verbiage with you that you can use for week 17, the Shake Up experiment and the Rock Bridge. So Shake Up, we're discovering weathering, the effect of motion on weathering. And what is weathering? Weathering is when the elements of weather, temperature, wind, water, and what are some kinds of water weather? Rain, snow, ice, waves, currents. When those elements of weather cause physical disintegration or decomposition of nature, such as rocks and mud balls, etc. So there's a lot of keywords in here that you can use to define some terms. Erosion means weathering and transportation at the same time. So it weathers it and it transports it. So today we're going to test how the motion of water affects weathering. We're going to use candy to simulate a mud ball in a pond. These jars of water will be our ponds, and we'll put a piece of candy into each jar. One of our ponds is going to have standing water. The other pond will have moving water, and we will shake it to simulate moving water. Do you think the candy, mud ball, will dissolve more rapidly in the jar that is standing or the jar that is shaken? Now, I think that is a hypothesis that our students certainly can answer, and then we'll just say, let's see. And so we'll shake that, and then as we go to assess it at the end, you can say something like, you see the standing pond, that the dissolved candy has mostly stayed at the bottom. And I don't think you got a chance to see it in the video because it didn't sit long enough, but there's definitely clear water at the top and sugar colored candy water at the bottom, and there's definitely a clear line of demarcation. And the other candy water has changed the color of all the water in its pond. So the candy changed the water of all the water in the jar that was shaken. And that's very similar to what would happen in a pond that has moving water. It would all look muddy versus looking clear on the top with mud balls on the bottom. So that is for shake up. And there's, of course, read your Van Cleves, because, you know, it talks about they're both soluble in water, and the vigorous movement causes the water to rub against the candy, knocking off small pieces to dissolve, and you'll be able to see that. So it's really important to read your Van Cleves. Please don't do anything that I say here as a replacement for the information that's in your Van Cleves. But on rock bridges, moving on to the next experiment, rock bridges. In nature, natural rock bridges are created over time through weathering and erosion. And you can ask them, do you remember what I said erosion meant? Why doesn't it all just come crashing down? All objects act as if there's one special spot where all of their weight is located. This spot is called the center of gravity. The particles of a natural bridge overlap in such a way that they place the center of gravity on the structure over the supporting sides of the mountain and other rocky places. Let's see if we can replicate this with books. So that is definitely a higher level description, but you can simplify that for your younger students. But it's important for you as the tutor to have an understanding of what this means so that you can explain it more simply. One of the notes that I made from last time around is, if you're having trouble, make your bridge so that no part of the bottom books overlaps the edge of the chair. So that first book should definitely not come out over the edge of the chair. That should stay in further than the edge or aligned with the edge. Then each subsequent book extends over the chair edge more and more until the top book is completely past the edges of the chairs. So the chairs should be pretty close together. The book bridge is supported because the center of gravity of each side of the bridge is over a chair. Each of the books overlaps the one below. Since the overlapping is consistent, the center of gravity stays the same. This allows the bridge to remain balanced without any help, and that's the same with a natural bridge. So again, you can read through the Van Cleves on that. All right, ladies, see you Friday.